So why estate planning? It's an age-old question because historically people tend to defer their estate planning. This is especially true today given the economic recession combined with the changes and resultant uncertainty surrounding the federal estate tax, Medicaid regulations, and the healthcare reform bill. Let me clarify that the estate tax has not been permanently repealed. Rather, the federal estate tax disappeared for 1 year in 2010. It reappears again in 2011. No one knows what action, if any, Congress will take prior to January 1st, 2011. Will any new tax bill be retroactive? This, of course, further complicates matters and makes effective and comprehensive estate planning all the more important. Then there's the Deficit and Reduction Act signed into law by President George W. Bush in 2006, which significantly changed Medicaid regulations. These changes have unfortunately caused confusion and frustration, which has resulted in a failure to engage in advanced planning for the purpose of protecting assets from creditors. Accordingly, I'm often consulted by families who are in crisis. Why does this happen? I don't believe it's an aversion to planning. People know how to plan. They plan the purchase of a home or a car, they plan their vacation, they plan their meals, yet the critical detail of estate planning to protect loved ones and assets is often overlooked. Therefore, the issue is not whether people know how to plan, but rather do they recognize the important role estate planning plays in their lives over the long term. We all get medical checkups. We understand that an automobile's engine periodically needs a tune-up. So it is with an estate plan. It needs a periodic checkup or tune-up as well. Changes that present planning opportunities are getting married, having or adopting a child, divorce, death of a child or spouse, changes in your financial property, remarriage, and opening a new business. Our society values safety. It values preparation and good performance. Yet when it comes to preparing an estate plan, these concepts are many times thrown to the wind, allowing the pieces to fall randomly. In other words, by preparing an estate plan, there is an assurance that one has engaged in responsible behavior. So when should you start planning? Well, some people will tell you never because they don't believe they have an estate, or if they have an estate, they believe that their spouse will inherit their entire estate tax-free. Allow me to address these two comments. First, most people do actually have an estate. Why do I say this? It has to do with the legal definition of the word estate. Black's Law Dictionary defines estate as the interest anyone has in land or other property. To determine if you have an estate, ask yourself the following question. Do you own any type of property such as a house, furniture, appliances, stereo computer equipment, clothing, jewelry, automobile, motorcycle, bicycle, collectibles, money, stocks, or bonds? If you answer yes to any one item, then you have an estate. The term estate in no way characterizes the size or value of your property. Please remember that the titling of assets plays a role in the distribution of property upon death. Once you've determined that you have an estate, the next step is to ask yourself, do I need to prepare an estate plan? To answer that question, ask yourself the following 10 questions. First, thanks to modern medicine, are you expecting to live longer today? Secondly, do you have children and are they from more than one relationship? Third, have you been married more than once? Fourth, what are your hopes and dreams for you and your family? Fifth, have you structured your estate in order to achieve your hopes and dreams and minimize the risks of depleting your assets? Sixth, what if a catastrophic event such as cancer, heart attack, or a serious accident occurs? Are you and your family prepared for such an unexpected event, or will decisions have to be made in crisis? Seventh, are your assets protected from creditors in the event you need long-term care? Eighth, do you want your estate to incur the costs and delays and public nature of probate? If not, what have you done to avoid this possibility? Ninth, have you established an estate plan in order to avoid or minimize both the federal and Massachusetts estate tax? And 10th, if you've done nothing, how will you protect your family and assets? Life expectancies for both men and women are on the rise. Improved diagnostic tools and prescription medications allow us to discover illness sooner and live longer. The statistics show that more people than ever before are being diagnosed with dementia. This increased longevity may increase the potential need for long-term care at some point in a person's life. This is an event for which you can plan. Marriage in some circumstances also provides an opportunity to engage in effective marital deduction planning. This type of planning structures the estates of the two spouses in such a fashion as to achieve maximum tax deferral and, in some cases, tax avoidance. The popularity of this type of planning is likely to return when the current federal estate tax sunsets in the end of 2010. For some people, avoiding the delays, costs, and public nature of probate is an important goal. Probate can be a lengthy and costly process. The court oversees the action of the executor under a will or an administrator where there is no will. Although the probate process can be cumbersome and time-consuming, it does exist for good reason. It provides protection of heirs and beneficiaries. This brings me to my next point. What is the primary function of estate planning? Many believe it's the preparation of legal documents. In fact, the primary function of estate planning is providing peace of mind. Estate planning is about a process. It involves people, your family, other individuals, and in some cases, charities of your choice. It also involves your assets, the form in which those assets are owned, your future needs, and your goals. An estate plan involves the accumulation, preservation, and ultimate distribution of assets. Peace of mind is achieved by developing an estate plan which acts as a roadmap to guide you and your family to achieve your goals and objectives. For an example, an estate plan can protect your assets from creditors, from the estate tax, from the foolish and irresponsible behavior of your relatives, from a divorce, and from administration fees. In so doing, it leaves a greater proportion of assets and property to loved ones. Also, an estate plan can encourage and promote successful behavior and reinforce your values. Moreover, an estate plan can preserve harmony in blended families. Blended families present special and unique challenges that require more careful attention to estate planning. Preserving relationships between step-parent and step-children after the death of the parent is one of those challenges. By using a trust with Q-tip provisions, a parent can prevent money from causing friction between the surviving spouse and the decedent's children. Having children calls for estate planning. Children from different relationships may call for the use of more sophisticated estate planning techniques in order to avoid unintended results. Also, having children who have developmental disabilities calls for a special kind of planning. Marriage and remarriage is a time to consider estate planning as well. A good estate plan will avoid surprises and provide peace of mind.